Have you ever really wondered what really makes you attracted to someone? Well, there's something going on underneath the surface that we all can't see but exists. And it has to do with your spiritual DNA and your design. Hi, I'm Dr. Veronica Anderson, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about electromagnetic attraction and what that really means. So sometimes we're like, oh my God, I feel so attracted to this person. This person syncs so well with me. And there's other times where you're with somebody and you just feel like, oh my God, I cannot get away from them. I don't care what I do. I know they're not good for me, but I can't get away from them. What's going on? Well, this has to do with your human design, your partner's human design, and what is unmet needs, but unmet energetic needs. So I'm going to share with you a chart today, a connection chart of a couple, and give you a little bit of explanation, because this is something that you want to know how you're put together, how the other person's put together. And today, because I'm doing this for Valentine's Day, I want it to be so that you see something that's really like fabulous. And here's the thing: if you get a connection chart done and you don't look like this as a couple, we can look at your chart and tell, well, what are your areas of compromise that could make it challenging that you have to work on? What are areas that are strong so we can play up these areas to make your relationship work? My goal is to help you figure out what to do to make your relationships work. And this is not just in romantic relationships, but this could be friendships, work relationships. But today, in honor of Valentine's Day, we're going to do a romantic relationship. So I'm going to share my screen with you so we can look at a chart, and you're going to find this like really exciting. So this is a couple where what's going on with them is they're called a 9-0. This is a human design connection chart, and they call it a nowhere to go. So let me tell you what exactly that means. If you look at this chart and you see the person on the left and the person on the right, those are their individuals' designs. Now, the person on the left is an emotional manifesting generator, and the person on the right is a pure manifesting generator. I'm not going to get into all of what that means. That's their type, manifesting generator. And so they kind of get each other because they're both the same type. But what really makes this couple like pop, bam, bang is that when they get together, all of their centers all are colored in. And so if you look on the person on the left, you'll see that they have this triangle to the yellow that's not colored in, it's white. That is called undefined. All the other ones are colored in. And then if you look at the person on the left, if you look at the top of their head centers undefined, and their emotional centers undefined. On the left, that's the heart center that's undefined. And so what happens when you're going out in the world, when you have an undefined center, what happens is you're looking for somebody to connect with that can define that center with you. So you get together, and the two people get together and they form a composite person. And if you say, okay, well, you complete me, this is a typical couple that may feel that way. And I'm going to tell you a few other special things about this particular couple that sound pretty amazing. So first, 9-0, which means that all their centers are fulfilled. And what it can mean with somebody like this or a couple like this, it's a whole different organism. You know, when you're a couple, you as a couple are different than you as individuals. Okay. And so this couple, when they're together, all of their energetic needs, a lot of them are met on a very high level. And so that means that there's not really, they're bonded together so that there's not a lot of way for other people to necessarily break in. Now, it doesn't mean that there's all, if you have a 9-0 couple, you can have a couple that's 9-0 like this, but they have a lot of compromise channels where there's a bunch of things about them that make it difficult, where they don't quite understand each other, even though they're really, really magnetized towards each other. So in this particular couple, they have 3 compromise channels, which means these are the areas that are a little bit more challenging for them. And I'm not going to specifically go into them. This is an overview video about that. And everybody's is going to be different. And then you look on the other side, okay, the compromise channels, if you look at the bottom left, there's these blue areas that are compromised channels. And then on the other side, and the blue person is, the person on the right is actually the blue person, and the person on the left is actually the red person. I'm going to tell you that so you know. So if you're seeing the channels of compromise, they're the channels that with the whole couple together, that the person, they're blue channels, the person on the right side has those channels, and it makes it a little bit difficult for the couple as a whole to understand some of the things that are going on. But if other part is you go to the dominance channels, these are channels where one person or the other person has the channel. And the beauty of this couple is, if you'll look at it, there are 5 blue channels and 4 red channels, which means the dominance channels are almost pretty well matched in this couple. So it's not like one couple overwhelming the other with the dominance. So the different channels, they'll act in these dominance channels kind of as a unit, but one side, one piece of the couple, the other side of the channel has it and acts that way. And on the other side of things, there are what are called companionship channels. This couple has a companionship channel. Now, let me just say one thing about a companionship channel. A companionship channel, they're rare to have them in a couple, and this couple has them. These are channels where they both have the channel, and so they deeply understand each other in this particular way. And this one is the channel of judgment. And when I say judgment, don't think about judgment as, you're thinking somebody being judgy or nasty or something like that, but they both understand because they understand how to judge situations or possibly judge situations in the same piece of way. And they both understand that. And that's something where they bond, a companionship channel. Most couples do not have a companionship channel. And you say, well, if they don't have a companionship channel, how do they keep going? Well, guess what? What's happening here is these are a genetic imperative. Couples get together. It doesn't matter what age they are. They get together because it's about furthering the humanity. And so you're attracted to someone ultimately to bring forth your genes, even if you've gotten past the age of childbearing. These factors that you come into with, these factors, your spiritual DNA that you're born with, never goes away. And you're still going to be energetically attracted to people based on this. Now, this, if you look on the right side of the bottom, there's what are called electromagnetic channels. And these are those animal magnetism things, those ones where you're going to like go to one side or the other side, and you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm really drawn to this person. I'm really drawn to this person. But guess what? These are channels that are unstable and don't necessarily further the relationship in any other way other than to put those people together to bring forth humanity. And so these are unstable characteristics when you have an electromagnetic channel. And a lot of times we get tripped up by these. And so if you're a couple that has a lot of electromagnetic channels, but you might also have a lot of compromised channels and not, the dominance isn't working right, or all your energetic needs aren't met inside the couple from, a design standpoint, it can make it some challenges in the couple. Now, you're saying, well, what about the people? What's going on in relationships where it's not all filled in like this? Because it's not like super common to have a dino relationship. Well, if let's say that one of the centers or 2 or 3 or 4 are open, that means that within the couple, all the energetic needs are not met. And that means there's going to need to be people outside of the couple that are going to come in and meet some of those energetic needs. So, what does that do? It can cause some strife in the relationship. It could cause, because of the, imperative for mating and attraction, people feel kind of possessive and everything like that. But guess what? If there's energetic needs that are not met inside the couple, one or the other are going to look elsewhere to meet energetic needs. Now, this is not only talking about sex. It's not. However, if somebody in the couple meets someone that meets an electromagnetic channel and they go together, or one of the big centers and they go together, it could seem like a really strong relationship outside of what the couple relationship is. Now, there are couples where when they have children, the channels all get met. I did a video about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, where when you put Archie into there, all of a sudden they had all their, it filled in the whole thing, their family, their energetic needs from a big, large, overarching standpoint were met once they had a child. But they had some instability in their relationship because they had still, even when they came together, open centers. In that particular couple, one of their open centers was the root center, even when you put them together. The root center, the one at the very bottom that's brown and square, is the one that helps you withstand stress. It's associated with the adrenal glands and cortisol, but also processing stress. So when you have an open root center as a couple, it's going to be difficult for you to withstand stress as a couple. Hence, Meghan and Harry had a lot of issues withstanding stress, and both were having challenges mentally, even together as a couple, and felt they needed to get out. Now, they electromagnetically, they were magnetized together, and so they were strong as a couple in some ways, but dealing with stress from the outside was an issue. And when they added in their first baby, a lot of those electromagnetic, energetic needs were met in the family unit when you added in a child. But I just wanted to show you what you can learn from your spiritual design. And the important piece about it is to understand that you are an individual being with one of the 5 types. Your partner is a completely different being with one of the 5 types. And it's not just your type, it's also which of the what's defined, what's undefined, what gates you have where you see like a half a line where white lines with it, what channels you have where they all go through, and you both as individuals separately have this design playing out. But then when you come together, you're a completely different organism. And some of the parts of that organism can be really challenging, although you're magnetized together because you have this imperative. And so one of the things to understand is when you're looking at someone and you meet someone, one of my friends said to me, I asked her about, the father of her first child and how they ended up getting in a relationship. And we were friends way back then, but at that time we weren't. And she said, I walked to the room and I saw him, and, I don't want to say I believe in love at first sight, and she was just smitten by this man that she met almost immediately, and what was probably at play. Because you're young, your hormones are going, everybody's hormones are going, but you're just like, well, what happened where this one person you zoomed in on? And what happens a lot of times is the electromagnetic forces from your human design, your spiritual design, are in play. And when you're in the presence of someone else who meets your electromagnetic needs, fills in centers that you don't have, and together you fill those centers, or you have one gate and they have the other gate, and the gates lock to form a whole channel. Wow, sparks fly, and it's nothing personal. It's not personal. This is something that's happening on a spiritual level, which is a genetic imperative. So what happened? Love at first sight. And soon after the beginning of the relationship, she had a child. Didn't end up with the guy long term, marrying the guy long term, but realized, oh my God, there was something there that I just can't even verbalize it and explain it. And here's what it is likely. This is just another way of looking at things that we don't even understand what's going on. So besides having these unmet energetic needs that can be an open center or a channel that's not complete, you also have like imprinting and hormones going on, genetic factors that make it so that you're attracted to someone. And these are things that nobody ever talks about. You're thinking they look a certain way, they got a certain personality. I see doctors who end up in hairy relationships and they're just like, I'm so smart, but my relationships haven't worked. Or, I married a guy and he just disappeared one day. This has nothing to do with intelligence, intellectual capacity, or anything like that. This is based on, maybe you met that person, there was this genetic imperative that got you together to have a child, but there were too many other compromises in the relationship, so that person ended up walking away. Now, let me say one other thing about this type of relationships. That's a 9-0 relationship where, all the centers are filled. These are the type of relationships that are exceedingly difficult to leave. So now this couple has a nice, let's say, they have what's called single definition, and they have a little compromise, some dominance that are back and forth. They actually have companionship and electromagnetic, but it's not all electromagnetic. The couples who are drawn together with this 9-0, if they ever try to separate and they don't have at all the strengths that this particular couple has, it can be exceedingly difficult because you pull them apart and their energetic needs are not met. So they're going to want to come back together. So if you've ever been in a relationship where, I hear this story a lot that, I'm with a guy and, he's still entangled with his ex. And it's really just making me uncomfortable. Well, what you're probably sensing and why they're still entangled is because from an energetic level, they're meeting each other's needs in a certain way. And even though the relationship is quote unquote dysfunctional, they both see that it's not working. They still are magnetized towards each other. And the person who comes in to the relationship, after the fact is going to be uncomfortable with that because they're going to be able to, we all can feel each other's energetic needs. And so, and energy centers. So you're going to feel, wow, they're really, there's some attraction that's going on there, even though they're jerks to each other and they seem like they hate each other and there's a bunch of dysfunctional stuff going on. You're going to feel energetically what's going on. And so understand that in order to make relationships work, it doesn't mean if you have a lot of compromise or something like that, that the relationship cannot work. The idea of this is for you to understand, what you can do to actually get the relationship to work. So you can have compassion, understanding this is who you are from a design standpoint, but also understand who that other person is from a design standpoint. And this is the way they are. This is your spiritual DNA. And just like your physical DNA, it cannot be changed. So how you have to deal with it when you're in a relationship is to accept it. Okay. If you would like the relationship to work, this does not mean you will not change this person. The beauty of you being able to see yourself and to somebody else is for you to understand that this is how you are. You're not going to change how you are. They're not going to change how they are. So if something is a red flag and it's not working, you're not going to change that. The only way these type of things change is they are on a spiritual growth pathway where they want to raise their level of consciousness and get to the point where they're not acting from just pure instinct. They're acting from a vibrational level of consciousness. And so here's the thing: you could have a couple where they're 9-0 like this and everything looks great across, but they're not getting along. What's happening there? From a consciousness level, they're dealing with the lower levels of consciousness: shame, guilt, fear, anger. And what's happening there is this is the way they've been taught to do things, from, imprinting, family systems, everything like that. And let's be compassionate about this. For those of us who study consciousness, the idea is for us to understand and be compassionate that we're all on a different consciousness and spiritual journey. And those levels of consciousness that are below 200, which a lot of us operate in, guilt, shame, fear, anger, those levels of consciousness, are reinforcing, and 78% of the world is operating in those levels of consciousness, those levels of vibration, 49% in the United States of America. And so realize that your chances of energetically being attracted to someone who's not in a higher level of consciousness is very high. Now you're watching me and looking at this type of stuff, and so the people who tend to follow this type of stuff tend to be be aware and perhaps at a higher level of consciousness, but most people aren't. They've never heard of this. Some people look at this and say it's absolute bunk bull. I don't believe in it. You're crazy. Okay, everybody's entitled to believe what they want to believe, and if this doesn't resonate with you, click off the video and don't think about it ever again. But if this is something that's really resonating with you, there's something that's really like saying, oh my gosh, there's this other piece here, that's where I am to help you navigate yourself. Because, people talk about self-love. How better to learn love yourself than when you can see what your particular attributes are from a spiritual level. And then also love your partner in a different way because you can see their level. But realize that if either one of these people, even when I'm looking and saying this is perfect, or not, nobody's perfect, nobody has everything. Even no couple has everything. There are always going to be compromises and challenges, and doesn't mean that one person's going to understand or anything like that. That's what we're here to. We're here. The person that you're in a relationship is your biggest spiritual teacher. And most of the time you pick them because there was an electromagnetic type of attraction that was going on there. It's not generally a left brain pick. We think that it is, but I've met a lot of people who say, oh my God, I don't know why he won't do right. He's a doctor. He's from my culture. He's this, that, and the other thing. And on paper, he looks great. But then when he shows up in a relationship and you guys are together, he ghosts you. He doesn't text back. He disappears ghosts you, disappears for long periods of time, and you'll get together and it'll be so crazy. Oh my God, that feels so good. And then he'll disappear again. And you're like, well, what's going on? Why can't I get him to stay? And understand that this is part of what's could be going on. And once you understand that and you understand yourself, then you can use your particular strategy, love your particular strategy, energetically embrace it, and then magnetize the right partner to you for your particular consciousness level. Now, here's the hard truth about it. If you magnetize someone who's operating in a lower level of consciousness, guess what that means? Like attracts like. So, hey, but guess what? You can raise you can raise your consciousness level, and like attracts like. And so now it takes, I use what's called the respect method to take people through a process to be able to raise their consciousness and trust themselves so that they get different types of relationships, the relationships that they crave and deserve. So this is all for a Valentine's Day video. I just, I came across this couple and I wanted to share it with you. You can get me at drveronica.com. I'll put links in below. You can, come to my site, take the quiz. What's your number one relationship mistake? This will talk about how you're showing up from a personality mistake from a personality way in the relationship. But once we know that, we also need to look at your human design, your spiritual self. That's the S for, in the respect method, the S is for surrender to your spirit. And there are three aspects of that. One of those aspects is looking at your human design. And you have to go through your own process first and understand it. And then after you go through the process, then you can start looking at who you're bonding with and what's going on in there. And, maybe I'll share one of my other clients who, had a situation where her partner left her at a long time. And I'm like, oh, wow, he has that searching channel. He's going to be searching all the time. That's what he's always, that's part of his design. He's going to be looking. He's always going to do that. When they say some people are just like that, he's just like that. He has the searching channel, which means he's always going to be out looking for other answers. So even in a relationship, he could be quote unquote bonded in a relationship, but that searching channel means he's always going to be looking for something else and something different. Okay. And the idea is also when you're looking at this is to learn how to love in a different way, not learning from possession, attachment, and jealousy, but loving in a particular way where because you're loving and appreciating yourself, you're appreciating and loving that other person. You want the best and highest good for them, even if it means they're not with you. You want the best and highest good for everything and everybody. And so now it takes a lot to learn how to love like that. You have to go up, to be able to love like that. It's now that you know what it exists, it's something that you may say, oh my God, I can't go for that. You're just not there yet because, you have some of your fears and past that's weighing you down. Guess what? You can let go of that. That's part of the respect method to be able to elevate your energy. Elevate your energy is talking about how you move up and let go of those fears and beliefs that aren't serving you, which when they're not serving you, if your relationships aren't going the way they want to, even if they're long-term and you feel like I can't get out, I can't do anything, I'm stuck. You have to learn a way to elevate your energy. And that's part of the respect method. So happy Valentine's Day. Of course, on Valentine's Day, I want to show you a piece that is just like, oh, wow, I saw this and I'm like, I got to share this for you. So thanks so much for listening. I'm Dr. Veronica, drveronica.com, and we will see you soon. I'm gonna log off and we will talk soon. Go to the links, follow me on social media, go to the website, get on my email list, because on the email list, I, give different tips day by day for you to be able to get different results in your life. But the best way to get results in your life is for somebody to show you individually you. And so if you're interested in the coaching program, go down, check out what I got going on, go to the website and send a note to me, contact me. Talk to you soon. Happy Valentine's Day.